Speaking of media attacks on Sarah Palin, a major magazine may have crossed the line with this one. Look at this headline on Us Weekly. Babies, Lies, and Scandal. That is the headline on the cover of Us Weekly. A scathing attack on the governor's 17-year-old pregnant daughter, the father of her baby, and Palin's appearance on an Alaskan radio show. Just a tiny bit different than the cover they did featuring Barack Obama, detailing the love story between Barack and Michelle. Look at this. Do you see a double standard, or is this fair game? Let's ask our guest. James Herson is a columnist for Newsmax.com. He joins us now by phone. Good morning, James.
Good morning. This is terribly unfair, and one of the most powerful ways of communicating is through a combination of headlines and pictures on the cover of a tabloid magazine like Us Weekly that has 12 million, mostly female readers. So it creates what, as you know in the law, is called a false light. The words lies and scandal, accompanied by the picture, imply that it's one of those scandals that you normally find in a tabloid, and it's highly irresponsible, and it happens to be published by the same publisher that owns the Rolling Stone, that contributed $5,300 to Barack Obama's campaign since 2007.
You know what the problem with this is, James, is it's, you know, I like many other people, have stood in the line at the grocery store, and you grab Us Weekly or People, and you look at the headlines before you get to the register. You know, when you grab one of those true tabloids, you know you're reading stuff that's probably not true. Maybe you just do it for kicks. But Us Weekly is more akin, in the view of many, to something like a People magazine, where you trust it a little bit more. This headline, perhaps not to be trusted.
Oh, it's absolutely not to be trusted. I mean, because as far as reports that are currently out there, there's no scandal and there's no lies involved in this thing. And the other thing that's important to note is that this is a critical period where the public is getting introduced to Sarah Palin, and these folks apparently want to define her early. And I think that the approach is very much like the approach that they used on Dan Quayle and the approach on Clarence Thomas, and that's because this person represents a threat to their agenda and ideology, partially because of the fact that she's a woman, but also partially because of the fact that her record and her story is so compelling that it has already created a powerful effect with the McCain campaign, and of course it reduced the bump or possibly erased the bump of the polls that Barack Obama wanted out of the convention. So this creates a great threat, and they're focusing their energies and the allies of the Obama campaign, possibly the Obama campaign itself, on defining her in a very negative fashion very quickly for the public, and there needs to be a counter.
James, what does the McCain camp do about this? Because, you know, as I say, a lot of people just read that magazine in the grocery store line, and they don't watch the news all day for pressers and for news conferences held by the McCain camp. How does the McCain camp get on the cover of Us Weekly to rebut this headline?
Well, the problem is that the McCain campaign, doesn't have an equivalent to Mr. Wenner, who owns the Rolling Stone and Us Weekly, but they have to use the resources at their command and the allies in the media and their own publicity campaign and answer quickly and make sure that the actuality, the truth about Sarah Palin gets out. I mean, she herself, I think, will have to counter this greatly when she gives the speech that everyone's waiting for this evening. But in the meantime, it's very important for the campaign to answer as best they can, as responsibly as they can, but they can't totally undo the damage of a powerful medium like this that hits, as you said, the grocery store shelves and has this creates an impression and an image, and unfortunately in our society, in our culture, image is critical to these kinds of campaigns.
Right. I mean, just to see this woman with her child on there and lies and scandal with her infant son on the cover of Us Weekly. I mean, your heart has to go out to her, James, no matter what your political affiliation is. It's just not done to candidates.
It's not, I can't recall a time that anything like this was done. And there is the possibility, you know, as that when somebody attacks someone's family like this, that there could be a backlash. And, you know, the fact that you're reporting on it and that others may fairly report on it is something that the campaign could take advantage of. Because the key thing is to not let Sarah Palin be defined, be entrapped in a false image before she's truly introduced to the public. It's totally, you know, it violates fairness, and it also undermines her extraordinary record, which is a record of clear, stateable accomplishments, and that message will come out, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, you can